This is Emile Lebrun with the Small Arms Survey, a program of the Graduate Institute of International Development Studies in Geneva, with a Small Arms Survey podcast. Published by Cambridge University Press, the 11th edition of the Small Arms Survey Yearbook was released on 6 July at the United Nations in Geneva. Like our previous yearbooks, it is an edited volume, this year featuring 9 chapters, 2 of which are updates on key issues related to small arms and light weapons, and measures to contain armed violence, and 7 broadly thematic chapters. The theme of the 2011 edition is States of Security, that is, challenges of security provision in a wide range of settings, both war and non-war, by state, private, and community actors. As always, special attention is paid to the role of small arms and light weapons. Taking the updates chapters first, the transfers chapter reviews the annual authorized trade in light weapons, which include man-portable air defense systems, mortars, rocket-propelled grenades, and anti-tank guided weapon systems. It finds that these weapons account for $1.1 billion in authorized trade each year. Based on this and findings published in the Small Arms Survey 2009 and 2010, the annual authorized trade in small arms, light weapons, and their ammunition, but excluding components and accessories, is some $7.1 billion combined. The top exporters of small arms and light weapons in 2008, those with annual exports of at least $100 million, were, in descending order, the United States, Italy, Germany, Brazil, Switzerland, Israel, Austria, South Korea, Belgium, the Russian Federation, Spain, Turkey, Norway, and Canada. The top importers of small arms and light weapons in 2008, those with annual imports of at least $100 million, were, in descending order, the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, Germany, Australia, France, and Pakistan. The transfers chapter also includes the 2011 Transparency Barometer, developed by the Small Arms Survey to evaluate countries' transparency in reporting their small arms and light weapons exports. Of the 49 countries reviewed in the 2011 edition, the most transparent countries are Switzerland, the United Kingdom, Germany, Serbia, and Romania. The least transparent are Iran and North Korea. Our UN process chapter this year takes a critical look at recent progress and challenges in the United Nations process on small arms, including states' implementation of the UN Programme of Action on Small Arms and the International Tracing Initiative, as well as developments in the negotiations towards an arms trade treaty. In his introduction to the volume, Small Arms Survey Research Director Robert Mugga writes, "Scholars and policymakers are revisiting certain fundamental questions about security provision in the 21st century. Who actually provides security and under whose authority? What policies, activities, and technologies ensure that security is provided?" The 7 chapters in the thematic section of the 2011 Small Arms Survey explore some of these fundamental questions. The thematic section begins with a chapter on technologies, which examines developments in the use of so-called less lethal technologies by police forces in the United States, France, and the United Kingdom. It finds that these weapons are already widely used by many police forces, but that law enforcement use of force doctrine has not always evolved to meet the rapid procurement and adoption of these weapons. A chapter on private security companies estimates for the first time, based on a review of 70 countries, the number of private security personnel worldwide and their firearm holdings. It finds that there are some 20 million private security personnel at the global level, almost twice the number of police officers, with access to no more than 4 million firearms, compared to the 26 million held by law enforcement and the 200 million held by armed forces worldwide. A complementary chapter on the use of private security companies by multinational corporations, or MNCs, examines some of the risks and challenges surrounding MNCs' use of private security, especially in high-risk environments. It finds that MNCs sometimes hire security personnel with a history of the excessive use of force, and that current oversight mechanisms are generally unable to prevent this. 3 country case studies then follow on aspects of security provision in Madagascar, Côte d'Ivoire, and Haiti. The Madagascar chapter examines the historical roots of the public security sector's inability to effectively tackle rising crime and the Army's increasing co-option by political and economic forces. It describes a national security sector whose regular forces are severely underpaid and ill-equipped, with far too many high-ranking officers, and a mushrooming of special intervention units with questionable mandates. The chapter on Côte d'Ivoire reports perceptions of security and security providers in a country divided between government and rebel-held areas. Based on a 2010 countrywide household survey, as well as extensive interviews and focus groups, It finds that levels and types of insecurity, such as banditry and resource-based conflict, are comparable across the two zones, and that public trust in both official security providers is low. Both government and rebel zones are home to extensive community self-defense and vigilante groups, which in turn create new forms of insecurity. The Haiti chapter draws on a series of household surveys fielded from 2005 through 2010 to examine the evolution of Haitians' perceptions of security and state security providers. It finds not only that security has gradually improved over the period, but that Haitians are increasingly confident in the police, despite having one of the lowest ratios of police to population in the world and a force with a previously poor human rights record. Finally, a chapter on civilian firearm possession regulations closes out the yearbook. Based on an extensive review of firearms regulations in 28 countries and 14 subnational entities, it concludes that in all but 2 territories surveyed, states regard firearm ownership as a privilege, not a basic right, and have systems of owner licensing in place aimed at preventing certain types of civilians from owning firearms. These are just a selection of the findings in the 2011 edition of the Small Arms Survey. 3 full chapters and summaries of all the chapters in the volume are available for download in 7 languages at www.smallarmsurvey.org. Copies of the Small Arms Survey 2011 can be ordered from Cambridge University Press. This has been Emile Lebrun, co-editor of the Small Arms Survey 2011. Thank you for listening.